was something in the Bible about the last days when the dead would rise from the grave.
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
The whole building is a huge superconductive antenna that was designed and built expressly for the purpose of pulling in and concentrating spiritual turbulence.
Something terrible is about to enter our world, and this building is obviously the door. They conducted rituals up on the roof. Bizarre rituals intended to bring about the end of the world, and now it looks like it may actually happen.
This city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Exactly. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of This Just In, and I am most pleased to welcome back my best friend and brother in Christ, Franz. Welcome back, Franz.
Thank you, Jason. It's good to be back. It's been, almost a month? Just about a month?
Yeah, pretty much. I think right around there, if not, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's good to be back. I'm going to start off by apologizing to everybody for my abrupt disappearance, my sudden, disappearance. That's good enough. Hiatus.
Yeah.
So, without going into great detail, sometimes God separates you from something so you can hear a full message or put your focus somewhere else he wants you to focus on. I don't want my disappearance or how suddenly I just stopped showing up for Wednesdays to reflect Jason in any way. Jay asks me to come here and gives me a voice. When Jay and I started becoming friends again and finding each other and relearning each other's lives and where we were in our lives and how much more in common and lost we were. Jay called me up basically one day and said, "Hey, I got an extra shovel and I'm digging this hole." And I helped him. And he said he's digging a hole for a foundation. Don't ask questions, just give me a hand. And Jay, out of this hole he dug, he poured a foundation, and he started building his church. It's Jason's church. This is Jason's ministry. This is his family he has built, and he's got together. He dragged a podium inside of his church and put a microphone on it. He told me that he had confidence in me and asked me to step up and speak. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, man.
Jason's one of my best friends. And the only other major important things other than Jay and what's important to him is my immediate family, my children and my wife. And if they ask me to focus on them, that's my church. That's my podium. I am their priest. I am their my minister or ministry. And Jay brought me to a relationship with God. And the further I grow up and going up closer to God, like a triangle, the more I can bring up my family with me. The more I bring them up with me, the closer I get up that triangle. And sometimes your triangle's like this, you want to be here to connect to the top. But if I'm not helping the ones that mean that much to me, I'm stagnant there. And God really put on my heart that he wants my family. So as much as I'm a part of Jason's family, bringing my children to Jesus and my wife and children to Jesus is important to me as well. So, like I said, with all that said, if I ever abruptly leave again, it does not reflect Jason. his relationship with God, his relationship with this ministry, his church, or our friendship. So with that said, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's becoming a sub, who comes every week, every Saturday, and listens to Jason pour his heart out, because I know that's very important to him. And that's what he has asked of me, because he believes in me, and there's not been many people in my life that have shown me confidence in me to step to a microphone and speak. But with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody for the support in Jason and his channel, and thank you, Jason, for your support in me.
It's my honor and my pleasure, brother, and I wouldn't have it any other way. From that first disastrous outtake we did in my spare room at the other house, come a long way since then, man. I couldn't get it to go live. It was a disaster, but no, it's been a good ride, man. I'm glad that you said yes, and you always. This was my thing. Is you always used to tell me things. And sometimes you would tell me these things, and it's funny because I was just listening to Celestial's new video today, and she was talking about stuff just like this. Sometimes you would tell me things, and I'd be like, "What? That's a little out there." I would think, in my head, and then the next thing I know, I would be learning about it, and I'd be like, "He was right." I was like, "Yeah, dude, he's always bringing me this stuff. It seems so out there, but it's always on the money." And that's why I was like, man, I gotta get him to come on my show. We gotta do a show where he can share some of the stuff he's digging up, because it always comes, And so I was like, man, we gotta get this out there. So I'm just glad you said yes, brother. And those were very kind words. I love you to death, and I'm just super happy to have you back.
Well, I love you to death too, and you mean a lot to me. So. For everybody who's listening and still listening to us pour our heart out to each other, that's what God wants you to have relationships and fellowships about, confession and spreading love. And without going too deep into like a testimony, but Jay and I met each other when we were both very lost and on a very crazy path, I would say. Even back then, 25 something years ago, we knew, I felt like we both felt in our hearts without ever speaking about it, that there was something stronger than just the chaos we were living in that brought us together, and something about being attracted to each other as friends. When, there was something stronger than just chance, and keeps happening, and it kept happening, and we're here now. And we're each other's evidence, physical proof of where we were, and physical edification to say, yeah, that man was there. To be on this side of it and to speak of God and to praise Jesus, is such a beautiful thing. Like, I look back on everything. Every time we met, every time we had a conversation, every time we were sitting like assholes. Excuse my language, but sorry.
No need for apologies, brother.
Anyways, so I needed to take a step away from everything and just focus on my family and being still. Absolutely, and just enjoying them, and the whole world and society is under such a spiritual attack. It's hard to watch it. It's hard to be in the world, not of the world. Yeah. And I needed to just step back and be still and be with my family and show them how to be more in the world and not of it. So I got to spend a lot of time with them, and I had a great time. Anyways,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I sent Jason a picture of me and my son in New Hampshire. Give you a little backstory because there's this old folks home next to the library in my town, and there's a brick wall that runs along it, and this old man, bald old man with about 5 hairs scraggly off his head. He lays, he lays on the brick wall and watches traffic, but he lays in such an uncomfortable looking position. I was doing dad jokes to my son, being annoying to him as we drive by. And I'm like, hey, look, there goes Irish Jig on the laydown. I'm so proud of dadding this joke. So every time we go by, I think there's Irish Jig on the laydown. He looks like he's doing a jig, but he's laying down on the wall, so it's so funny looking. So everybody was taking pictures on this wall in this town in New Hampshire, and I told my son we had to go take a picture of us doing the Irish Jig on the laydown.
Yeah. I saw you guys laying on it. I'm like, that does not look comfortable.
That's the whole point.
Oh man.
So I thought that was funny. I figured I'd give you the backstory to that.
Yeah.
Why are you guys doing that?
Well, I was wondering. I was like, oh, it's a cool picture, man, but that definitely don't look comfortable. I was like, they look miserable laying there, dude.
Turn this weird guy's uncomfortable position into a dad joke, and then I had the dad joke with my son. So, anyways, yes. So I literally disconnected. Just yesterday and today, I turned my computer back on and started looking into some news and checking up where, what's happening. And there's still a lot of things going on. What do we got from holes opening up in the sun, kind of, coronas, mass coronas shooting, electromagnetic storms.
Yeah.
And we got those still happening. Black holes pointing at us. Just doing a recap, a little bit rundown of what I've saw. What else are they saying now? Oh, we got that. We heard about NASA's DART.
DART?
Yeah, so there's an asteroid. I have to start presenting here. I'll show you so we can search and look up together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's DART. Stands for. I didn't write it down. We'll have to look at it here real quick. So am I presenting? Is it presenting now? There we go.
Yeah.
Bear with me. It's gonna take me a minute to get back into
back in the old swing of things.
things here. So was it live? I found it in Live Science. Fallout from NASA's asteroid-smashing DART mission could hit Earth, potentially triggering first human-caused meteor shower. So, yeah, that stuck out to me right away, as I was just scanning it because, I've had a conversation, I mentioned it, that somebody was talking about watching a meteor shower in the falling stars, and it was, beautiful. And then last time I was here, I was talking about the mass corona ejections creating northern lights, and what that really was. So this definitely is the same. But I thought this was funny because I wanted to know what DART stood for. So I typed in NASA DART and see if it does it again. I'm hoping it does it. It's not going to do it, is it?
I don't know
Like I showed my wife like 3 or 4. What's that?
Oh, I said
There it
I
comes.
don't know. What was that?
So DART is actually a satellite, double asteroided redirection test. Kind of like Deep Impact. Is that the movie where they shoot a satellite or a missile in outer space?
Yeah.
So that's literally what they're doing. But you see how the actual satellite comes out and creates an explosion on the screen and then knocks the whole site
I was just gonna say,
on
dude,
its
it
side.
looks like your webpage is like at an angle.
No, if you watch carefully, it does it. I'll do it again because I'm like, why is it doing that?
Yeah, I saw something come out.
This article, yeah, it was the satellite, and it just came out hours ago. Double asteroid. So you got your news 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 1 day ago, and then the satellite will come out and smash, or like it's actually hitting something and knocks the. Did you see it that time?
Yeah. That's weird, man.
It's weird. It's super weird. And it
Super.
stays
It's like
that.
brainwashing, man. Just more stuff to get you to buy into this deception.
Glober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double asteroid
So
redirection test.
That's what it literally spells. Double asteroid redirection test was a NASA space mission aimed at testing a method of planetary defense against near-Earth objects. Again, defense. Everything's in the name of defense.
Right.
It was designed to assess how much a spacecraft impact deflects an asteroid through its transfer of momentum when hitting an asteroid head-on. So they launched DART. No, I guess they launched it. Launched was, it doesn't really say. It says impact date, but not launch. November 24th, 21. Yep, that must be the launch date. So they launched it November 24th, 2021, and it impacted an asteroid on September 26th, 2022. It's just a satellite.
I'm just looking at those dimensions, dude. So look at the dimensions in the feet section. So you got 5'11", 55, right? Then you got 6'3", which is 3 sixes. And then if you look at 8'6", if you remember that 6 is half a foot, so it's actually 8.5, which is 58.
Right? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
NASA.
Yeah.
Leave it to NASA, man. Right?
NASA's always up to good stuff, and they're defending us. But this asteroid wasn't going to hit us. They just wanted to do a test to see if they could do that, just in case. Because then we'd have to actually send up a crew and go put an atomic bomb inside of it, like the movies.
Yeah, people wonder. People will wonder, like, if space isn't real, why do they do this stuff? It's like, because they spend $62 million a day. Like, that's their budget. I mean, this is why they do these things, to scare the public so they can get funding, so they can take the money.
Yeah, it's the dog and pony show. It really is. I mean, if you paid me that much money, I would give you something.
Yeah, don't they hire? I think like half of the Disney animators also work at NASA.
They do work at NASA, and then you have the Disney like live animatronics that I think we've talked about it in the show before about how their robotronics and AI robos are top notch, because they're not just making or remaking a cartoon character into a robot. They're literally making them.
Right.
And what else? What else was I gonna say? Oh, and what's been mainstream news about space lately too? I've been seeing a lot of it, but nobody can get them back. Right? The astronauts.
Oh yeah, the Lost in Space.
Yeah, like really, and they've been up there. How long have they been stuck there? So they've been up there quite a while. I'm assuming in a research or space station, and then they tried to. I haven't dug into it a lot, other than just reading a few headlines here and there. So they sent up a Boeing Starliner to go save the astronauts. They've been. He spent 240 days stuck in space as of 2 days ago. But okay, so they are stranded here. I'm getting from this article here 4 hours ago that they're stranded in ISS, and they're in a U.S. space program. So they're both American, and they can't figure out how to get them home. They're stuck up there. But it's no big deal. They can float around for a year. They have enough food, water, air, places to use the bathroom. I mean,
so I don't know how I feel about the being in orbit, but I have heard it talked about that they get into one person that I listen to some of the things he talks about. Like me personally, I've always just thought it's fake. But he believes that it's really up there. I mean, he believes a lot of the same things I believe, but when it comes to the ISS, he believes it's actually up there, and he thinks that they are in the bottomless pit, so they're perpetually falling, which I think is an interesting concept. Like
so they're not. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to.
Like, I don't know how it would work, but in his mind, it makes sense to him. So that being in orbit, because there is no orbit, because it's not a globe, but there is a bottomless pit. And so they just would be constantly falling.
So it's like as above, so below. So we're conditioned and tricked to believe we're looking up, but we're looking down.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we may have no idea where we're looking, really. Yeah.
Yeah, right. We don't. We
Yeah.
really don't. Absolutely.
Think of it. So if the Earth was upside down, falling,
and
that would explain how we can stick to the Earth, right? From the motion. But
because we're not jumping up and coming back down. We're already, that is an interesting take on that.
Yeah, it's just something different to think about. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's what I believe it in, but I'm just saying like it's interesting to try and wrap your head around that thought.
Right,
you know?
Right. I agree. There's lots of other things out there like that. And that I don't particularly believe in or wrap all of my belief into, but it's a exercise to help you get outside of the box, outside of the construct, because with everything of the world, it's still easy to, you know what I mean, stay in the box per se.
Right.
But yeah, that's actually a cool way of looking at it. Cool exercise to try to think about.
Yeah.
Because instead of trying to prove something like that, I rather try to ask the proof of what they're trying to convince us. Where is the proof in this? Because how can they, if they are up and they're in orbit, stranded and lost, they're just hanging out waiting? I mean,
yeah. I
like
think I think they're in the bottom of NASA's Olympic-sized pool, really. Right.
I don't know. Olympic-sized pool is kind of small compared to the whole.
Yeah,
The
I'm
pool.
sure that NASA's got a bigger pool.
I'm sure it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can fit ISS inside of it, that's a pretty big pool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's actually a good take. I like that. But again, it's also everything that's been happening is so intertwined. You got your politics, your space, your entertainment, and some characters like this guy, the public figure. Here he is announced as a public figure. It's probably small. That's Elon Musk. I brought these up because Elon's picking on NASA, laughing at NASA. He's picking on Boeing for failing, and he can do so much better, and he'll go get them. Elon Musk, SpaceX will rescue astronauts because he's likes to go into the mainstream and say how much smarter than NASA he is because his rockets go straight up and come back down because he's smarter and he's learned the true rocketeering. I don't, however you'd say it, or he's gotten, information from the quantum realm. But yeah, what's another article about Elon that I just saw today too, as he's laughing at Boeing and NASA, his rocket. I think he had one yesterday.
It failed.
Starship explosion. No, that's 2023.
There you go. Oh, that's
wrong. July. Yeah, his Falcon 9. His rocket failed or exploded. I think he has another launch this month. Yeah, here it is. There's a replay Falcon. SpaceX launches rockets. 21 Starlink. All right, so he's still talking about his Starlinks too, his Starlink satellites, which now Google does too. So they'd just be floating down, and
yeah,
US,
like people see them things flying across the sky, like, see, and that's where like my thoughts come into pondering what I was just talking about. That this guy said that it's the bottomless pit, because then I start wondering, like, well, how are these starlights flying over? How are people videotaping? Because they're not like connected to balloons, like they're cranking across the sky.
No, I've seen them.
Right. So that's why. So then I start to go like, well, how is that possible? Right. We know they're not out in space because space doesn't exist. But they have to be somewhere. And something has to be happening, right? It's strange to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is strange. Yeah, so when I saw this, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a grainy, blurry picture, but
oh yeah, we can see it.
It just shows you a line of these satellites. And no, they're not very high up. I've also always said since we've started this show that it's easy to believe a lie if your perception is altered. It's not about how many elitists or how many people have been lying to you or creating this lie. It's altering your perception just enough for you not to understand or grasp the concept. You look up into the sky and you see a cloud, and in your mind you think, or see a plane going through that cloud, and you think that's a mile away. Our perception of what a mile really is, I would have to say, is more like a half a mile.
Yeah, because planes are high up.
I really don't know what a mile is. I mean, that's exactly why we have different measuring systems across this habitat that we live on.
Yeah, because big planes usually fly at like 40,000 feet.
Right.
And that's like 9 miles, 8 miles.
And then they would have to be out close to the stratosphere in orbit then, right?
Well,
Because if you,
from what I understand about the firmament, is it is 72 miles in the center. I mean, I don't even remember where I heard that, so please don't ask me anybody, because I can't even tell you. Um, but I
no, but
do
that's a very
also
distinctive
know
number.
that on the ice wall where Admiral Byrd was and those guys doing the tests, they said, and it's actually in the Encyclopedia Americana, where they said that the firmament was 13,000 feet off of the wall where they were. So it came like right down, and they could actually, they call it sky ice. They,
Sky ice, right?
yeah,
Yep.
they actually take samples of the firmament, but that's why they have the labs on the ice wall, because they can't take it out of there. They have to test it there because it just goes into nothing if they try to take it out of there. It won't. It doesn't stay sky ice. It just evaporates. Yeah, it's like that wicked blue stuff.
Right. So I typing it in, just type in sky ice, I get um, a government site on Antarctica blue ice. Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting. Well, it just gives you a sky ice Thai food.
Hmm.
Here's a question: what is Antarctica's sky ice? Blue ice forms when air bubbles are squeezed out of compressed snow and fern layers. Uh, so they're giving you this explanation that air bubbles and snow,
Right, but
partially compacted snow left over from previous seasons. The ice. So how does it get in the air? Air bubbles. Oh, it's snow traveling on air
look
bubbles.
what it says, dude. It says the ice appears blue as a result of the absorption of solar radiation at yellow and red wave. So the ice absorbs the radiation and freezes it. Come on, man. I feel like
So we would really then by that we really wouldn't have global warming. Then so radiation rays wouldn't be bouncing around all over the place. They'd
right.
be
They'd be getting
be
frozen.
absorbed.
Yeah.
Wow, we'd actually have more ice, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah, that's
So the whole point of this is take NASA with a grain of salt. It's contradictory. The more you ask questions or get into it,
Oh, yeah, NASA only works if you don't ask questions. Once you start asking questions, the whole thing falls apart. They don't have any answers.
they don't. They really don't.
That's why they make the universe so big with like a quadrillion suns and you know and 50 bazillion planets and 500 gazillion galaxies that are flying away at 5 million times light speed and right because
No,
it's too much for the human brain.
it
So
is. It really
what
is. I
question would
mean,
you even ask, right? Like
right?
that's
Yeah,
why they do it so that you feel like too intimidated to even ask anything.
that's right. Absolutely. And if you do ask, like, well, okay, so what's that star cluster? Oh, that's KB Oyster 27, KB2.
Yeah.
We all know that.
It's like what do they say? It's a lie that's too big to not be true. Right? They make the lie so big that people will believe it. That's how it works, man. People will
And they
believe.
do.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And it's funny. Not funny. It's sad um, that people will be like, yeah, that don't make sense. But okay, I won't think about that one again. It's like they want to eat it up and
Yeah.
then forget about it. You know,
Yeah.
have you ever? Um, there's a comedian. I can't remember his name. And he was. He talks about. He's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's nothing, and it's forever expanding, and it's getting larger. the nothing is getting bigger. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, how does space get bigger?
I'm made of molecules, and you're made of molecules, and the air in between us that have made of molecules, but that doesn't make any sense. How do these molecules know they're molecules? Hi, I'm Franz.
Yeah.
It's just
I used
funny
to just
how
think about space
dumb
and be
puts
like,
it, because
oh, go ahead, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I used to think about space and be like, how is there room for all this stuff? Like,
Right.
space was so big in my mind, I was like, that's impossible. Where on earth is there that much room? How are you going to have that much space? Like, space takes up too much space. It's got to be something wrong here. And then they believe that it's going to...
Well,
the
yeah,
Big
well,
Bang
that-
people,
all
they
that-
believe that it's going to grow and then shrink back in on itself and then compress and then blow up again. It's like this never-ending cycle of expansion and contraction. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's like, and then everything came from nothing when something happened. Like, okay,
Yeah.
but those people believe that, but don't believe God did anything. It's just crazy. Everything from nothing. Like, all right, so when you pass away, what happens? Nothing. So you go back to your creator. Sounds like something else I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
like
don't believe in God, but you believe in that.
that takes more faith than believing in God. Like, you believe
It
that
does.
something comes from nothing. Like, where do you see any evidence of that anywhere ever? Show me one thing where
that's
something came from nothing.
It's taken all these years for us to see the light from the bang.
Yeah, sure has. Boy, I guess. This blinded them.
Well, that's like, when does it go out? Because I've been staring at it for the last 45.
Yeah. Like, man, you guys have been looking at the Big Bang too long, dude. Oh, Triple E, yeah, I'm going to talk about that too, actually.
I know, right?
People have been sending me messages about it.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of people
Yeah.
think it's like some new disease. I'm like, this isn't new. I was like, it's old. But it's new in the news.
No, the Triple E.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 6 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours new. Just because.
Well, that's why
like
I
I
had
said,
somebody hit me up.
Everything is being meshed together.
Yeah, they were like, there's a new disease. I was like, it's not a new disease, man. They may be talking about it, but it's not new.
It's not new. No, Triple E's been around, and they give it a silly name. So here in New England, in New Hampshire, it's the first caused death, one death in New Hampshire this year. This is the breaking news that has come out, and I'm bringing it up because they've been spitting out. Like I said, I literally took a break from everything in the last 2 days. I've just barely opened up stuff and started looking again, and new diseases are killing people. One death here, and I hate to say it, but it's election year. It's the year we all need to argue with each other and vote who's wrong and who's right, and everything plays into it. This was yesterday. So this goes on. I'm not even going to try to read Eastern equine encephalitis.
Encephalitis. Yeah, that's like
Equine.
it's basically saying like encephalitis from a horse on the East Coast.
So it went from the animal kingdom into the human kingdom.
Right, this is one of those zoonotic viruses, you know.
Oh, it's like the West Nile virus.
Of course.
transmitted by mosquitoes, but Triple E. I remember some years ago, there was a case in Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's like 10 years ago.
There's a little kid that got it and was hospitalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had those highway signs on the side that would say like exit so and so's closed, detour. You know, the orange information signs, and it was Triple E. Triple E. Beware of Triple E. You're driving down the highway, just driving through that state, and there was those. Watch out for Triple E. Anything you do. Okay, so that's one here. It's all just fear mongering. Really, because if you actually dig into the symptoms of this Triple E, it's another a pneumonia or flu or fever, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna cover it a little bit too. So, sloth fever.
So I'm just vaguely explaining to you why. New York Post. Yeah, so now we have, it's even on Fox, CBS, USA. I saw it on the New York Post, Daily Mail. Terrifying. Sloth fever.
Dude.
Sloth fever virus is spreading. Sloth fever spreads. Central Florida. Fever. Or the Oropoch virus has entered the U.S. And here's what to know. 21 people with slosh fever. Slosh.
Does it make you move
so I'm
real
assuming
slow?
It's a fever that comes on. I don't know.
You be moving like this?
But so now we have, that's just two right off the top. Mosquitoes, fevers, mosquito diseases, and what to know, what to do. Scary. But it's funny because a few years ago, and this is something that's been going on. It's more like a few years ago they started talking about it. Not even a few years ago. This article talks about it being this year. So they've been releasing genetically modified mosquitoes. Right? This is the Centers for Disease Control. They create mosquitoes and they release them in counties in Florida and Texas. And this was April of 2024, and they're talking about it. So they're genetically modified to not be able to reproduce and only wind up like their gender changes, and it makes it so they can't reproduce.
What are their pronouns?
So you're right. So they go out and go with natural mosquitoes that have reproduction organs. So then they try, and then it just gives them a disease and kills the natural ones that can reproduce. So then the ones who've been genetically modified and released die with the one. But now we have sloth fever, and Triple E everywhere. To fend off aggressive female mosquitoes, LA is releasing thousands of sterile males. A mosquito species that targets humans has moved into Southern California. Officials are sending out lab-raised irradiated mosquitoes in bid to fight them. So if there was a pack of wolves in your front yard, would you quick run to the lab and genetically make a pack of wolves to go out and fight them? But you're going to make them have the taste for humans and want to eat humans more, but they'll go out there and fight off the other mosquitoes or the wolves. You understand how ridiculous what I'm saying is.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying about mosquitoes.
Yeah.
They took they basically created insect chimeras with Nephilim DNA to go fight off non-sterile females with their sterile males, but also with diseases. So they would infect us, not just the offspring of the mosquitoes. But then you think about that, and we've talked about robotics and how small and how advanced bio robotics is. You have to wonder if they're all organic mosquitoes.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they could be like biotech.
and that's exactly what they are. No joke, no doubt about it. That is more fact than NASA's asteroid.
Dude, what the heck? I was just
So
reading what you got pulled up
are you
there.
reading that?
Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? Oh my
So it's
goodness.
gene editing malaria vaccine. Do you know how many people have a gene edited malaria vaccine? Well, if you've been bit by a mosquito, there's possibilities that you have that vaccine because the vaccine was delivered through hundreds of mosquito bites from mosquitoes containing the genetically engineered malaria parasite. These mosquitoes essentially serve as the flying syringes that's
Wow.
printed by University of Washington Medicine. The researchers found that they was capable of introducing production against the subsequent challenge infection. Yeah, so without getting too wordy before I say some of those words too many times, yeah, they're flying around the medicine with the cure in biotech.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
And that goes right into the geoengineering. Okay, so where are they coming from? They're just released. They had a baggie and they said, here you go, mosquitoes. Maybe the larva was sprayed in water droplets out into the ozone or the atmosphere. Right? So we've been having unusual weather. In my state, it is common now, local governments and telling the population that flooding season and like a monsoon season and flash floods that wash away towns and houses is the new norm. No, that's not right. Why is that? And then you look into it more, they're like, where are these superstorms coming from? What else are in these superstorms that come out of nowhere? Bear with me a second.
Yeah, man.
So then you get another fear warning from scientists. This article stuck out to me. It's coming. I've been actually really impressed how well this hour's gone with no technical difficulties. Too bad. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. Your voice just started sounding mechanical.
Yeah, it happened once before too, but it went away pretty quick.
Scientists warn grocery shelves may soon be missing pantry staple food because of poor crop conditions, emphasizing the importance of sustainable farming. Yeah, like all the metals in the dirt, all this global warming. And this article was August 22nd, 2024.
It's
so
fun.
Here, more. Repeat that. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, go ahead. I'll throw it in after.
It's the fear of famine, right? More famine. what have we learned about famine? So I think, I don't know if you've heard about it, but my wife's been showing me pictures of people posting short videos of fruits or vegetables that they've bought from major chain stores. And I'd have to say a strawberry would be one of these. And this is what they're talking about. And stuff like strawberries and bananas. A study of University of Waterloo predicts that strawberry yields could see a dramatic reduction of 40%. So again, they're prepping you of some natural disaster creating inability to grow these fruits and vegetables. But they're not grown, not in the classical farming, ranching aspect you would think. There's only so much growing season. So yes, with the weather that we have been having, you will have limited growing times in tight places of location and altitude and all those. But it's more fear mongering. This is more buy into are genetically modified. You can't get these from the grocery store. We can't grow them no more. So, we'll have to grow them in a lab or make them in a lab or 3D print them. And you don't really know what you're getting for a substance that you're actually eating. So, and it speaks, is it in Revelations when they speak of famine as a sign of the times?
Yeah, let's see, that would be the third horseman. Yeah. And there's lots of other prophecies.
It was the third horseman.
Yeah.
See, I don't make predictions, but with that article and what we just said, I'm assuming you're going to see a lot more of it in the coming months coming into winter this year. But yes, so that was pretty much the news and the articles I wanted to speak about and present to you. I don't know if you prepped or prepared.
Yeah, man, I got some stuff. I just got to reorganize my screen here. I got a new idea I'm going to try out. Exit full screen. Alright, so what I did was, the way I set it up, this should work. I want to be able to see, so I'll click present. I think it's screen 2. Yep, that's the one. Allow. And then what I'll do is I'll put the chat box up on the right hand side over here so I can see it. Yeah. So does that look
No, yeah, it's good.
Looks good?
Yeah, now on what I'm seeing on YouTube, it's presenting on top, so we're little, and your presenting screen is big.
Perfect. I set up OBS a new way so that I could see the chat, have a presentation, and run the window that we talk through. So it took me a little bit. Like, I really had to use my brain to to figure it out. It was painful, I'll tell you what. All right, so here is what I wanted to show. And I'll just say, hey, everybody who's in the chat. I know a lot of you guys have been saying hi to us. So I just want to give a shout out to all you guys and say that we're glad you showed up. We appreciate every one of you. And it's good to see you all in the chat hamming it up with each other. So, welcome. Good to see you all.
Absolutely.
So, let me see. So, here's something interesting, and I got to tell you. So, when I heard about this Triple E death, so for those of you who don't know, I actually live in New Hampshire. And when I saw this clip and somebody was like, you know how they got clickbait and they were like, somebody died, first death, something told me, the Holy Spirit, obviously, I say something, but I know exactly who it is, that it was about New Hampshire. And so you sometimes question, but I clicked on it, and sure enough, turned out to be in New Hampshire. So, I'm so glad I did this when I did, because I saved screenshots of this thing, and no sooner had I saved these screenshots than they changed it. I was like, oh my word, I'm so happy I got these screenshots, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to show you what I'm about to show you. So you can see here, August 27th, which we all know is 72, 66 plus 6. August is just a portal month, okay? All month.
Mm-hmm.
So here you can see them talking. This is NBC, okay? This isn't where I live, New Hampshire. This is NBC. And they're straight up telling you this man's name. Now, this is important. First, I'm going to do the numbers on this guy's name. And then I'm going to show you WMUR had no idea who this guy was. And that's New Hampshire news. So this just tells you that my point, I guess, is don't believe everything you see. Where? Oh, there it is. Boy, that took a while to boot up. So when I was seeing this stuff, I was like, I gotta do the numbers, man, because it's not passing the smell test. Okay, so first 41, that's 14 backwards, which is 77. So there's your 77, 9/11, right? 7/11, 9/11. So now we'll do Steven. So we got S T E V E N. 85. There's your 58. Okay. Now we'll do Perry. P E R R Y. 82. 28. Okay, so you got 88, 58. You got your portal into the rise of the Antichrist and Apollo worship. Just right there in his name and his age. Okay? Now I know people might think that might be a stretch, so I got some stuff for you. Okay, this is a folder, but this is New Hampshire news. Now, remember the time that I just showed you? Boy, what is my computer's on slow motion, I think. Yeah, no, my computer's slow motion, ain't it? All right. See what it says here? 5/18, August 27th. Now, what I was just showing you guys, NBC at 3:01 knew exactly who this guy was. Okay? So did all the other news organizations, but for some reason, New Hampshire News didn't know. So now I'm going to show you the rest of this, and I kept like the little blue bars so you could see that it's the same article, so you know I'm not running any numbers on you, not that I ever would. But you can see here there's no mention of this guy. It just says the person was identified as an adult from Hampstead. So the mainstream media is promoting this guy's name and age. But here, this woman is actually in Hampstead, reporting the news, has no idea who this guy is. on the ground in the town. So after I took these, right, I'm just showing that that was the end of the article. No mention of this guy's name whatsoever. Okay? So then I put it in the Wayback Machine before I decided to save it. And this is what it recorded. All of a sudden, now that lady's gone. Remember, here is where her little news broadcast was. And now he's there. Right? Now he's there. So I also got you this to see. This is the actual news clip. And so this shows you they have no idea who this guy is. Let me see here. Hopefully it'll pop up on this side. What is eating up all my bandwidth, man? Oh, it's over here. Hang on a second.
That's right. And what's really crazy about this is New Hampshire state health officials say we haven't seen a human.
New Hampshire is a fairly, big state for New England. There's only one news channel in all of New Hampshire.
Yeah, and this is it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is this playing? Yeah. Oh, could you guys hear that news? I hope you can hear this.
That's right. And what's really crazy about this is New Hampshire state health officials say we haven't seen a human case of Triple E since 2014. So far this year, we saw one positive test in a horse as well as in 7 batches of mosquitoes. There was also one human case in Massachusetts. What we know about the person who did die from complications related to Triple E is that this person was an adult from Hampstead. The state has confirmed that they contracted a severe central nervous system disease as a result of the virus. Triple E stands for Eastern Equine Encephalitis, and it's transmitted through bites from infected mosquitoes. We spoke with New Hampshire state epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan, who explains just how dangerous Triple E can be.
There is no vaccine to prevent these mosquito-transmitted infections. There are no specific antiviral medications to treat somebody if they become infected. So the best way to prevent infection and the complications that can arise from being infected is to prevent mosquito bites.
And Dr. Chan says ways you can do this is to stay covered when you're outside. And if you are exposed to the elements, use mosquito repellent whenever you can. Live in Hampstead, Isabel Litters, WMUR News 9.
So, where this news organization is actually boots on the ground. This is actually New Hampshire, where this event happened, quote unquote. And they don't know who the guy is. But all these big places, they're reporting it. They know exactly who this guy is, what his name is, right? Because this is where the news really came from. This article was created for fear, and they pushed it into New Hampshire, and then New Hampshire followed suit. But at the beginning, they had no idea what was going on. So I found this really interesting. This is from the same article, keep in mind, that's telling you this guy died. Okay? Here it is. He's dead, right? They say. Now I'm going to scroll down. Now, tell me how much sense this makes. I mean, I don't understand how people don't see this stuff. I really don't. Here's a map. See this little line here? That's New Hampshire, okay? I'm tracing it right now. This is Vermont. This is Massachusetts. This is New Hampshire. New Hampshire has one orange block on the border with Massachusetts over here on the coastline. The rest of it is gray. So, dark green means human disease cases. There's none in New Hampshire. Light green means human disease cases and non-human activity, human activity, or non-human activity. There's none. Oh, and here's non-human activity right here in the corner. So wouldn't you call this guy human disease case? Yet New Hampshire has none. See? I'm telling you, this is insane. I pulled this up. I forget. Oh, because I wanted to show you this. So it was first isolated from infected horse brains in 1933.
33.
The fatality rate in humans is 33%, which I just found that pretty interesting. So yes, another thing that people have pointed out, and that will point out for you, is that EEE is obviously 555, which is 666, right? Now this is going to come into play again in a minute, because I have some other stuff to show you. So let's talk about this. This is Hanuman, right?
What?
It's Hanuman. I don't know. Hanuman? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Can you see it?
A human. A human.
So what it is, it's a Buddhist god with a monkey face. Right? This is I don't know what it really is. I call it the monkeypox deity. That's what I'm calling it. All right.
Is that a squirrel at his feet?
It is a squirrel. Yeah, sure is. So, Hanuman was erected in Texas on August 8th. So here you have 8, 8, 8. Okay? This is monkeypox. Mixing monkey with man. Now, this statue is 90 feet tall and 90 tons. That's 99. Right? 9/11. Apollo. So, you'll see that this has very interesting connections to Apollo. It says Hanuman is a symbol of uniting communities, uniting people behind a goal. Now, when you read stuff like this, keep in mind that the goal might be to bring everybody under control. Might be to bring everyone into slavery. Might be to bring everybody under possession. Whatever the goal is, okay? They're not telling you what the goal is. They're just telling you that he's a symbol of uniting communities, uniting people behind a goal. Okay? Is that goal good for you and me? Probably not. But doesn't this sound great? Right?
Yeah.
It says, he's an example of a good spiritual leader because he brings people together. Well, my very educated Christian audience know better than to fall for this, right? To bring people together? Let's read Luke chapter 12, starting at verse 51. Suppose ye that I have come to give peace on the earth? I tell you nay, but rather division. Does that sound like bringing people together? Or dividing them? For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, or 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son against the father, the mother against the daughter against the mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So Jesus came to bring division. Okay? Yet this thing is a great spiritual leader because he brings people together. Together how? Oh, wait. Maybe through some medicine? Right? Where the many become one? Don't we have animals like that? Yeah, they're called bees, right? The hive mind. He says 90 is a very significant number. It's an auspicious number. Well, call me silly, but I wasn't exactly sure what auspicious meant. So I looked it up. Auspicious. Presenting favorable circumstances or showing signs of a favorable outcome. Propitious. Having omens or tokens of favorable issue, giving promise of success, prosperity, happiness, predicting good, prosperous, fortunate. So remember, this might just mean for the people at the top who want to take over the world. This has nothing to do with the masses, I can promise you that.
No.
So, this is, I think this statue was erected for monkeypox. To seal that in, like a portal, to seal in this deception coming. Right?
Absolutely.
So, it reminded me of a couple of movies. 12 Monkeys.
Oh, wow, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Now, check this out. Remember this year, 1995 is when it came out. Because I'm going to show you another movie in a minute. Okay? Now, many of you probably seen this movie, but it's about a virus that kills most of humanity. So I'm going to scroll down to the plot and just read you this little section. A deadly virus released in 1996 wiped out almost all of humanity, forcing survivors to live underground. A group known as the Army of the 12 Monkeys is believed to have released the virus. So the monkeys released the virus. It came from the monkeys. See the connection?
Mm-hmm.
Monkeypox, right? The monkeys brought the virus. Now, if that's not crazy enough, in 1995, this movie came out. Outbreak.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, dude.
Yep.
So if we scroll down here to inside of the plot, you will see that a white-headed capuchin monkey that is the host to the virus is smuggled into the country. So here is another movie about a monkey bringing the virus. In the same year, 1995. I mean, was this the only plot going around in 1995 for movies? I don't remember. But this is what I thought of when I saw that statue and started thinking about monkeypox. This is an article of the BBC, says, why is monkeypox spreading more rapidly? Okay? Now, the only thing I want to show you is this, because I don't care about anything they say. Monkeypox was first identified in 1958. So, here we have the rise of the Antichrist. Okay? Not only in this, but also in the article from Triple E, which is 555666. Now we have this monkeypox, this statue being erected. The first case in 1958. Now, it gets really crazy in a minute. So, here we have... This is Hanuman, right? This is the monkey face god. I don't know why he's ripping his chest in half. You got me. There looks like there's people in there or something. I don't know. But here's what I want to show you. In Shaiva tradition, he is regarded to be an incarnation of Shiva. So he's an avatar of Shiva, who you all know from this, outside of CERN. Okay? So this is Apollo. Shiva is the destroyer. Apollo is the destroyer. So now we have a connection between the monkey, Shiva, Apollo, the Antichrist. Now, here is Shiva head statue. Notice the crescent moon. There's our Artemis connection. The Whore of Babylon, right? Apollo's twin sister. Here you can see another picture of Shiva with the blue skin, like Avatar, right? And the monkey is an avatar of Shiva. Shiva has the Go ahead.
No, continue, because I had to add in about the avatars. They're the monkey god is the seventh avatar to Rama, who is also Vishnu.
Right.
Vishnu is male form of Shiva.
Yeah, there is a I should have read more, but it says it's in only this tradition that he's regarded as Shiva, but in other traditions, he is Rama. And then it says the same thing.
Rama. Right.
Yeah, down here.
Even in China.
It says that Hanuman is mentioned in the Puranas. The Shiva Purana mentions Hanuman as an avatar of Shiva. All other Punaras and scriptures clearly mention him as the spiritual son of Vayu and sometimes an avatar of Rudra. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's like the triune, the satanic triune of the Hindu.
And that squirrel represents that because they call it. I just looked it up quickly, but because I never thought that squirrel. So they call it a giant Indian squirrel that has 3 white stripes, which we would know as a chipmunk. But it was because the squirrel was helping build the bridge to go help Rama get his wife back, and the squirrel kept throwing little pebbles in that held up stones and blah blah blah. And Lord Rama was so pleased with the squirrel that he pet the squirrel on its back and left 3 white stripes. So there's the 3 that represents,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, dude, the Hindus really got like a serious pantheon of like.
Absolutely.
They take their false gods pretty seriously. So, so there's a connection here with Shiva, Rama, the demonic trinity, CERN, the Antichrist. Here you see a golden calf, right, in front of who's this again? Shiva. Sorry, I get so much going on in my brain. So then I just want to remind you all, since we're talking about this Antichrist spirit rising, these statues being set up in honor of the Antichrist spirit, that it is going to enter into a man we all know, Obama.
Yep.
Here he is as Shiva. And look what they call him. The God of all things, the goat. And then, here you can see the other article says, the second coming. This is your Antichrist, everybody. And they have been rubbing it in our faces for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. They're telling you. He's going to be harnessing the Apollo spirit. Right? Unbelievable. Look at the train that little God is holding. Oh, the train, yep. Man, they are right in the open. Yep, totally are. So I think I only have one more. Oh, I do have two more things to share. But it's not going to take too long. All right. So let's move on to the next thing. This is, I'm going to say this for algorithmic purposes. This is an article I'm reading verbatim from the FDA.
Whoa.
FDA approves and authorizes updated Myrna medicine to better protect against currently circulating variants. Okay? So, if we go down here, I saw this and it really caught my eye. It says vaccination continues to be the cornerstone of CV-19 prevention. There's only one cornerstone. That's Jesus. You want to see something really sick? Check this out. Unmedicined individuals 6 months to 4 years of age are eligible to receive 3 doses of the updated authorized biotech. 3. Unbelievable. They really want to pump it into these children.
Absolutely.
How sad. Says, now, individuals who receive an updated mRNA medicine may experience similar side effects to those reported by individuals who previously received this kind of medicine. Oh, you mean like this? Myocarditis? Remember all the high school kids dropping dead on the football field and the soccer field and the baseball field and the softball field? And remember all the kids dying? I'm pretty sure that might be what they're talking about. So, I'm going to show you up here. Check out the date on this. Okay? August 22nd. Okay? So this is an emergency push-through authorization. So this is the CDC's website that I'm going to also read verbatim. KP311 is the predominant variant as CV activity increases. Now look at the date here. August 19th. So, KP311, that's 33. KP is 27, which is 999 or 72, which is 66 plus 6. It says KP311 is the only major variant increasing in proportion nationally.
Wow.
Okay? Here's something that goes with the last one we just read. CV-19 no longer causes severe illness on the scale it once did. But the FDA is pushing through these new ones because it's an emergency. But the CDC is saying it's not that big of a deal. Don't sweat the small stuff. Right? I'm getting mixed signals here. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
It says that KP311 is currently estimated to be the predominant variant across many parts of the country. Activities continue to increase. Now, I probably forgot to highlight it. I sure did. Well, that's okay. I found it right here. So it says KP311 is of the Omicron family. Now, in case you're wondering how all this connects to everything we've just been talking about, I'm going to remind you guys of what Omicron is. Okay? Omicron is the 15th letter of the Greek alphabet. That's 5, 5, 5. Okay? Here's your triple E. Here's all the stuff connected. Here's your monkeypox. It's all the same. It's all the same. I mean, it's not the same. I don't know why I just said that. Something must have just came over me. Omicron, this in Greek numerals, has a value of 70. Right? That's 7. That's 322. Skull and bones. Not only that, but Jesus sent out the 70. And so wouldn't it make sense that Satan would send out the 70? The Omicron? Okay? So...
It's also our 15th letter of the alphabet.
It is?
And the 4th vowel.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right. 4, yeah. Oh, wow, that's IV. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that, man. Good call. Good call, buddy. Good call. So, I had mentioned showing you guys something last week. Let me just move this over here. And I'm going to show it to you. I cut it down into a clip. I want to show you some spiritual possession taking place. And literally, this woman did it to herself. And I'm sure all kinds of people are doing this, but I just wanted to show you guys like the why is this taking so long? Oh, there we go. Okay. Reality shift. Alright, yeah, this is it. Alright, so I am going to play this. I just want you guys, it's about 2 minutes long. So just listen to this and just ponder what this girl's saying. This is what demonic possession looks like.
This next video posted by Evolving with Steph. She had a very interesting experience with video evidence. Check this out.
The craziest thing happened to me yesterday. So I woke up in the morning feeling different, but I couldn't really pinpoint why, right? And then I went to the supermarket to go get some eggs. And when I went to go get the egg, in the spot where they normally have been this whole time that I've been living in this area for the last couple of years, they weren't there.
She begins by explaining how she woke up one certain day, went to the supermarket, and everything was in a different place. And at first, I thought that maybe the supermarket just changed the layout, which is possible. But then this happens. Check this out.
Oh, did I just happen to shift into another parallel version of my reality, and this one just has a slightly different layout than the supermarket that I'm used to? Like, that's crazy. Anyway, that was just a thought, right? So I keep going about my day, and then I go to the park, and as I'm walking back home from the park, right, I get to this corner where there's usually this little, like, corner store, convenience store, and when I get there, guess what I see? The store was closed. It looked abandoned because I didn't see a store sign, and apparently had been broken into or something. So then I took that as my sign that, like, no, I have clearly shifted into another parallel reality and I need to talk about it.
So this is where things get really strange. The convenience store next to her house was closed, abandoned, and broken into. But the previous day, it was open and functioning. So what is going on here? But then She explains this. Check this out.
Get home and I start getting ready for bed, right? And then I do what I normally do when I go to bed, which is listen to a subliminal or some kind of like healing frequency or hypnosis track or something like that. So I go through my history to see the previous videos I had listened to from the night before. I forgot I had listened to this the night before, and I actually had woken up in the middle of the night and I put it back on and I listened to it. And then in the morning when I woke up, I listened to it again. So could this be the reason why I felt different in the morning when I woke up and why my reality was just like noticeably different to me?
Steph explains that these strange events began happening after she started listening to meditation songs before going to sleep. More precisely, reality-shifting sleep meditation. She is now confused and doesn't know if this has anything to do with these reality shifts that she noticed.
I think that hypnosis audio track or whatever it is helped me to shift into a parallel reality. And I know that there are going to be naysayers and they're just going to be like, oh, you know, you're just reading too much into this or whatever. I don't care. Think what you want.
So, that is crazy, right? This girl, first of all, she says, I listen to subliminals. Like, dude, really? Why? Like, how do you even know what they're saying? Like, that's insane to me. But they've convinced this woman, because she obviously let spirits in.
Yep.
You know, and the demons have convinced this woman that she's shifted into an alternate reality. Now, this goes right in with the spiritual possession I was talking about. Like, Satan convinced Abraham and Isaac and the two people that were with him that they were stuck in a river when it was just Satan. Like, I saw the sun come up and smelled my coffee, even though the sun wasn't up and there was no coffee. So, spirits can make you think and see things that are not there. This is what they call schizophrenia. Okay? That's what schizophrenia is. 2 Thessalonians 2:9 says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. Okay, this is why the whole Mandela effect and all this other stuff started happening, because they were getting people into this digital matrix where they could shift and alter reality for their eyes so that they could be spiritually possessed and detached from reality so that they could be controlled. And that girl is a prime example of what's going on here. Catherine says, is this girl even telling the truth or a hired actor? Oh, she's telling the truth. She's telling the truth. This is just, you haven't seen anything yet. This is just the beginning. Like, lots of people are doing these things, and they're convinced.
Absolutely, they are convinced. In that video, like, there's other videos where people are still trying to figure out if, you know, the person faked it or where was he, you know, and then people would comment to him and tell him where to go in this abandoned altered reality, and he would go there live.
Oh, the guy that's by himself?
Yeah. That one. There's other ones. There's multiple ones, and it's like, and you know, and if you listen enough, you hear them talk about, like what she said, you know, when you listen to healing frequencies at night, you know, you think you're listening to rain and storms healing frequency to just go to bed, but it's the subliminals. You're allowing it to happen, and it is a spiritual warfare. And then these people think they're in an alternate reality, and then somebody else gets that sees the demon face disease now that's out too.
Oh yeah,
that goes in hand.
Yeah, dude, that's yeah. See, they knew this was coming. They knew people were going to start being possessed. They knew these things were going to go on. And so they laid the groundwork for what it is. You know? Just like they do with everything. Like, they lay the groundwork. Like, they know there's going to be signs in the heavens. So they have Blue Beam and HARP and all these other things to have an excuse for why these things are happening. They know all this stuff is going to be happening in the earth, earthquake, volcanoes, flooding. So what do? They make climate change so they have an excuse for why all these things are happening in the earth. Like, they lay the groundwork so they can hide God. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Hiding God.
It is exactly what it's about. You think of everything else but God.
Yeah.
Period. And that's what the spiritual warfare is. It's distract you for even 30 seconds,
Yeah.
And sorry, but Satan doesn't know you better than you know yourself. Satan knows the scripture almost better than anybody else, but he's still mildly stupid because he just keeps regurgitating the same things over and over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before I go out, I was going to share this about the first story you shared, that news media knew it was Stephen Perry.
Oh, but yeah.
So there's a 75-year-old Stephen Perry, right? He was born on January 22nd in 1949. He's 75 years this year. And he was the lead singer of a band called Journey from 1977 to 1998.
Same name?
Stephen Perry.
Yeah.
And so his band, successful years of 77 to 87, and again from 95 to 98 when his band was popular, successful.
So that name already carries power then.
It really does. If he had a band in that, the famous song, Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah. Oh, man, thanks for putting that in my head. I'll be singing that for like 3 days probably now. Oh, man.
I'm sorry. But yeah, along the lines of subliminals and listening to the wrong thing, yes, it is regurgitation.
Yeah. So that name already has power in it, so it would make sense for them to use it.
It makes sense why they would do it. And that individual you showed under that name, that could have just been AI generated.
That's what, dude. That was the first thing I thought of. I was like, dude, this guy looks like AI fakeness, dude.
He has to be. I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but he looked like he had a touch of the syndromes.
Yeah, he was looking fake, man. And
No,
everybody there's only one picture of him, and that's the picture. Yep.
Wow. Yep. All right. Well, that for me is my good note to say goodnight. And I'm going to sign off. Again, Jay, thank you. And thank you, everybody. It's good to see you guys all being kind and loving to each other in the chat and supporting Jay. It's awesome. But with all that said, stay vigilant and God bless everybody.
Thank you, Franz. It's a pleasure having you back on. God bless you, brother. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, brother.
All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to stay on too long tonight. I have, this is a busy week. Been doing I almost fell asleep before the show, to be honest with you, after I ate. I ate my dinner and I was like, don't fall asleep, gotta do the show. Oh, man. But, yeah, I thank you guys for tuning in. What a blessing it is to have Franz back. Been missing him. Always enjoy having chats with Franz. He sees things from another angle that I don't see them from. So it's always refreshing to hear another perspective. Oh, thanks, Ali. Love the shirt. Yeah, this spiritual warfare. Yeah. Yeah, I've been sending them out to people who are asking, so I know you got one, right, Ali? And I sent one to, who did I send it to? Oh, I sent it to Lopez and his brother. The upside down earth is mind blowing, isn't it? Man, isn't that crazy? Just to think about. Like, of course, I don't have anything that I could nail down and say, oh, this is what it says about. I don't have any of that. But just to ponder, like, this is like, when you started coming around to flat Earth or whatever, you would ponder these things, and yeah, that up may be down. That's pretty crazy. Right? There goes gravity. Because wouldn't that would be enough to hold everybody on the earth, right? Not that there needs to be some kind of special force to hold people down. I mean, that just may be the way God made it, but yeah, just to think about those things is it's probably a really good mind exercise. If you can put your mind out there and just contemplate these things as possibilities, then you're more apt to believe the crazy things that are true, that otherwise you may have a hard time believing. I was looking at something. Thank you, Robin. I was looking at something, how the earth was made last night. I was like, wow. Well, what were you looking at? I should get a hold of Adam and see if I can use his picture to and make shirts for people. Because he's the one that made that flat earth picture that I show of what the earth really looks like. But that would be a cool shirt. I don't think he'd mind, because I don't sell them. I just give them away, so I don't really think he'd have a problem with it. But I'll reach out to him and see if he's okay with it, because I'd like to make it into some shirts. Let's see here. About Earth, Death Valley. Oh, Death Valley. I went there. I went by there when I was out in Nevada. Conspiracy music guru sings about things such as NASA and gravity. He is a good musician. Check him out. I don't know who that is, so please don't suggest comment. Yeah, please don't suggest things like that. I don't allow people to post other people's channels, sites, music on my channel, and it's nothing against you, Chrissy. It's just a rule I have, because I don't know who that person is, so I can't allow that to go out here. This is a Christian channel, and we are in spiritual warfare, so don't take offense, but I don't let anybody post other channels, music, things to check out. Have you seen the moon craters being connected with the continents being a mirrored image? I have seen that. I, however, do not buy into it. I think that's pretty new agey to me. I don't know. It just seems new agey to me. Yeah, I'm getting errors. But at least it waited until Franz left. Right? And now, yeah, my CPU is blowing up too. It's like trying to push. You can like see what's happening on my end. It's like trying to push the connection through a chokehold. Yeah, I bet you if I'm silent for like 2 minutes, it will come back. Boy, 2 minutes is a long time when you're trying to be quiet on the show. Because I feel like I'm supposed to be talking. It's the wordplay, yeah. Yeah, it's totally throttling my connection now. Wow. That's so crazy. I'm just glad it waited till Franz left. It ran great the whole show. So, but now I can see the battle happening on my end over here. Thank you very much, Tanoki. Appreciate it. Oh, I could take these headphones off. Run perfect. Yeah, I'm glad it ran well for Franz. I prepped him at the beginning. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jay. I just saw some things on it recently. I appreciate your opinion on it. Sorry to interrupt. No interruption, man. I'm glad that that you asked. That things like the 2 sons or the 3 sons and just all this like land land outside of the ice wall. That's what they say is extraterrestrial. It's of the Earth, but it's outside of the ice wall. A lot they say that this is the inner ring of Atlantis, and then there's the ice wall, and then another section, and then another section with different plots of land, which is unbiblical. They say that's where the giants live, outside of the ice wall and other lands. But the Bible says that the giants were right in here with us. And, that's why the flood came. I always wondered how a flood would work, or even water. Like, how would the ocean work on a globe? Right? How would the water... It does have a very new age spirit to it, I totally agree, yeah. How would the water stay on a spinning ball? I tell people, this is my analogy, I say, if you took a ball and put it on the end of a stick and dunked it in paint and spun it with the stick, what's going to happen to that paint? Is it going to stay on the ball or is it going to go flying? You know, like the whole earth, nothing about the earth concept makes any sense at all when you start to like ask questions. But that's the thing, we're taught to believe it, not to question it. So, you know, just like space and all this other stuff, you know, we're taught to believe it, don't question it. History, believe it, don't question it. You know, how can you question history? It's history. You know. But they say everything moved from the alleged earthquake. It would meet in the middle and fly off the ball. Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. Trust me, exactly. Yeah, it's, you know, none of it makes sense. When I was a kid, I was told gravity. Right, so here's the thing about gravity is, you know, if it's strong enough to hold all that water down, it would crush us. You know, we're talking billions of pounds of water per square whatever. I don't know, it's science jargon and stuff. But if you spin the thing around, it's not going to make gravity, it's going to eject you. There has to be some kind of vacuum pressure to press in from the outside. It has to be an outside force to push you into something. Remember, okay, you ever go to the amusement park and they have this ride? It's called, I don't know, here it's called Gravitron. But you get in and you lay on this thing, right? And it spins around so fast and you stick to the wall, right? You don't go to the center, you stick to the wall. So gravity doesn't go to the center, you know, it pulls you. That's what I'm saying, you would need an outside force to keep you down. You couldn't be pulled in from the inside. You'd have to be pushed in from the outside. Like, gravity doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know we all learn that. I'm just saying, like, when you start to think about it and apply it to stuff that you've seen or taken part in real life, you know what I mean? Like, those rides, they go around in a circle. So if gravity, like the Earth, was spinning around in a circle, everybody should get sucked into the middle. But that's the opposite of what happens. Everybody gets pushed out. Because that's the force that's happening. When you spin something, it tends to fly off. Like when you see like a dragster and they do their peel outs at the beginning of the race, you see their tires go whoop, and they shrink in sideways and expand in the middle, right? Because they want to come off of it. Because of the spinning is causing it to be ejected. We spread against the tube and it spun. Real suck face. What in the heck? How many times do we hear "trust me" in the movies? They're conditioning us to just trust them because they said to. Yeah, that's the thing. They just want you to trust them. They don't want you to ask questions because they know that they can't hold an argument to anything you question. You know, that's why they teach you how to remember things. Remember this, remember this, remember this date, remember this, remember what happened this day, remember this. Gravitational pull. Yeah, I guess it depends on which end you're looking at, but yeah, it's definitely not gonna bring you into the center. It's gonna eject you. Like if the Earth was really the way they said it is, everybody would be flying into space. That doesn't exist, but you would be flung into the air. You'd have a hard time staying on Earth because this would be a force that wants to fling you off. Right? That's why they have to make up their pseudoscience to, and that's why they make up pseudoscience with all this jargon and all this expansion and all this hugeness and all these numbers that are massive and all these equations that don't make any sense, because they don't want you to be able to question it. Right? Now, some of these people believe in this stuff so strongly, it's unbelievable. But some of these people understand that it's not real. Right? Some of them know that because they've thought about it themselves and they're like, this doesn't even make sense. But because it's, big long equations, they give you to answer a question. Well, how does gravity work? Well, look at this big equation, and I got 3 chalkboards that are full of all these random squiggly marks and numbers. That's how. Like, what? No, I could do 100 experiments right now that disproves everything on those chalkboards. And I could show it to you. You don't have to be a mathematician. You have to be a thinker. You have to just use your head. But that's the problem. Using the head. People just don't use their heads. I know you guys do. I'm just saying, like, the masses. Why think? I have a smartphone. I don't need to know anything. If I need to know something, I'll just ask my smartphone. Right? Yeah, crazy. This world's crazy. See, I stopped talking about whatever I was talking about. Now it's running great. Probably go off the wire now that I said something, but... Alright, you guys. I am going to say a prayer, and then I'm going to bounce. As I said, I got work tomorrow, and I'm pretty beat from today. It's been really sunny here. Working in the sun is definitely wearing me out. But it is good to be back with Franz. Good to be here with you guys. As always, appreciate the fellowship, the community, and, thank you guys for coming and welcoming Franz back. I appreciate it. And, we all have those times when you need to just step away. Put your phone down, unplug, there are those times. And when you need those times, then you take those times. And you can't ignore, as much as we want to be who we want to be, you can't ignore when things get to be too much. So yeah, just listen to that still small voice in you. And if you're ever called to put something down or to walk away from something or to take a break from something, then, just listen to the Holy Spirit. Listen to that voice. Even if you're not baptized and don't have the Holy Spirit, you still have a conscience. And God can communicate to you through your conscience. He'll use your conscience to direct you as well. So just listen. That's what it's all about, is just listening. So let's have a prayer, and then I'm going to get out of here. And I appreciate all you guys showing up today. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, Holy Ghost, we just want to take this time to thank you for this day, Lord, and thank you for this opportunity to come together in this fellowship. We just want to thank you for being here with us and guiding us and showing us all the things that are happening and warning us about things that are to come. We thank you, Lord, for calling us out of darkness and bringing us into your glorious light. We thank you for your word. We thank you for teaching us how to read and understand it. We thank you, Lord, for teaching us about the struggles we will have in this life and how to war against these principalities and powers. We thank you, Lord, for your sacrifice, which allowed us to become part of your body, so that we may share in the power that you have, and that we may overcome this world as you overcame the world. Because you are in us, Lord, and you are stronger than he that is in this world. And through you we can overcome. So I just ask, Lord, that you reach out to each and every person who will come into this fellowship, who will watch this video, who will hear this prayer. I ask, Lord, that you lift them up and fill them with your strength, Lord. Hold them up with your right hand, that they may stand in your righteousness and in your glory. And speak boldly your truth, and not worry about anything else, but keeping their eye on you. For you are what's important. You are all that matters. It is not the easiest thing in the world to follow you, Lord. As a matter of fact, it's one of the hardest things to do. But you give us grace. You give us your patience, your long suffering, and you grant us mercy, so that we can follow you and learn how to follow you. And we thank you for this opportunity that you have given us to get to know you and to come be part of you and your family. And we love you, and we praise you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you guys. Always a pleasure. Yeah, this was a great night. It was really nice to have Franz back. I know I keep saying that, but that's my buddy, you know. We've been doing the show for 2 years now, so it's you know, when he's not here, it's like, what's happening? I think I made good do with the shows I had to myself, but it's really nice to have him back. So, yeah, I will see you guys on Saturday night, where we will be starting Revelation 13. It's about to get real deep in the book of Revelation. So don't miss Saturday night's Bible study at 7 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, we'll dig into chapter 13. Thank you guys for all your blessings. Thank you to the moderators, Wild Olive and Ali. Appreciate you guys' help very much. And thank you all for coming and chatting up and just having fellowship with each other. Always a blessing to have you guys here with me. Thank you. And until next Saturday night, you guys, take care. God bless. Love each and every one of you. And good night.